month meeting on June 23rd. We are going to start off with a public hearing for 23 Moore Lane. Evan Carloni has a variance request. Evan, how are you?
I'm doing well, Kevin. How are you? Good. All right, so to start right into it, I think I need to share my screen here. Screen 2. Share. Okay.
Okay.
Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. So the request is the approval of a 2-foot offset to the estimated high groundwater table utilizing the Presby Advanced Enviroseptic System. The reason for the request is because of reasonably high groundwater table, which we found, which a conventional system would end up pushing. It would cause some issues with fill. We're very close to the driveway. We're pushed up as close as we can be to the driveway because of the wetlands which are nearby. We are, let's see, our closest point is about 75 feet to the wetlands. So this is about the best we could do. And this is scheduled to go before the Conservation Commission as well. I don't believe it has just yet, but it's getting there. So by having this 2-foot offset, we get a lower breakout elevation, which means that we don't have to have any sort of retaining wall along the edge of the driveway with a conventional system, which would have needed to happen. This is about the only place to go here. They are on a well, a private well, and up in this area too, if you come in, you're looking at the house up to the right. That's a fairly steep slope, and per the homeowner, it's all ledge. They had to blast when they put in this garage, I guess. So up here, we didn't even bother looking at that. It just wasn't feasible, and the space isn't quite there either. So that is the request.
Any neighbors you have there?
Any neighbors?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one up here, 21 Moore Lane. Their house is way up here. They are connected to town water.
Right.
They've got a connection through the property, which is up to the east. And then
Right.
17 Moore Lane, their house is roughly right in here, and their well was able to find and locate their well down here.
Do they have any problem with? Do they have any problem?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Evan, when was this home built?
When was the home built? That's a great question. I'm not sure on that.
So if I can, Kevin, the permit for the septic system was signed off in '83,
Okay.
the original system. So somewhere.
Before Title V.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, before the current version. Absolutely. Yep.
Mm.
Just seems new enough that shouldn't be a failure, but is it just in the groundwater right now?
I would say right now, no, I don't think it is in groundwater. No, we found 53 and 55 inches for the estimated high groundwater table. It was saturated. Very much so. Every time I've been on site, it's failed. Very failed.
Jim, do you have comments?
Sure. So these are all good sized lots. This is off a common drive off of Moore Lane. And so you go down Moore Lane, and unless you're looking for the house number, you'll miss it because it's just it looks like a driveway going in the woods. So again, big lots. The system will be far enough away from their own well, far enough away from the neighbor's well. You're able to maintain the 50 foot from wetlands. As Evan mentioned, if you were to raise the system another 2 feet, you'd be filling into that driveway. If you tried to go to the other side of the driveway, as you mentioned, that's a hillside, and you'd end up dealing with fill that would come down in the driveway. So it allows the house and the grading and the driveway to kind of stay as they are, and it's probably as high, if not higher, than the systems that's there in the ground. So, from a public health standpoint, I think it's a reasonable request.
Hey, I'm with you, Jimmy. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the
Okay.
variance.
And do you have any comments?
No, I don't have any questions. It looks pretty straightforward. A good plan.
Sorry, Gino, go ahead.
I make a motion to accept the variance.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Gino Fratelloni,
Gino Furlong, yes.
Dan Kane,
Dan Kane, yes.
and Kevin Baker, yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Evan.
Thank you.
Do we have, I think we have a 7:10. Jim, do you think that the COVID-19 update could jump in here or?
Can I drag it out that long?
Tell us a story.
One of the nice things about how things are going is that I took a look in Maven at the numbers. In the last 2-week rolling period of time, there were 2 cases in Littleton. The positivity rate, the last time it was listed, the new report comes out tomorrow. It's about what the state rate is. So you're right in there, the positivity rate. So all good things. Statewide, the number of cases, active cases are under 2,000. So that's a really good thing to hear. Camps are opening, and the questions we're getting now have to be more like, can I serve food at my activity, or how do I do it? So it's more questions around the edges of what might be acceptable, which is a good thing. People are still thinking enough about it that they're asking the questions about how to operate safely. So I will, again, we're doing camp. I think I have Camp T's inspections next week.
Yeah, they just opened yesterday.
What's that?
They just started yesterday.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll be doing their inspection. Camp Neshoba is coming up also. So, and again, we've been talking with them. I've met with Parks and Rec a couple of times as they've been working towards opening camp. So,
Good.
so again, all good news so far. The state numbers, the last time the state numbers are just the number
Very low.
of cases are down too, which is really good. It's nice to see that we're benefiting some from the vaccination and the great vaccination numbers in the state. So, I guess I have nothing other than good news at this point. For the Mass Notify went live, so I don't know if people know that. If you kind of Google Mass Notify Massachusetts, comes up to the state's website, tells you how to enroll and about the program. So I think that went live a week ago.
Yeah, Kevin Davis is probably pulling his hair out. That didn't happen, a year ago. But.
Well, from a contact tracing standpoint, I'm kind of happy it's starting now while the cases are low, so we can figure out how this may affect what it is we do and how we interact. So the state is going to be phasing out the contact tracing collaborative, I think, at the end of September. So it'll be all up to the locals to do it after that. So
They're more shifting towards the Mass Notify then.
Well, the Mass Notify, if I would say shifting, if they think that people will just kind of, I guess, I'm not sure how that's the part. I'm not sure whether people will call because they've got notified, call the health department and say, hey, geez, I got this notification. What does it mean? So that's the part the state Department of Public Health really hasn't stated how they will integrate that information because it's anonymous, but not if somebody calls us and say, I got pinged, what should I do? And it's like, good question. So,
do you know of any incentive to sort of try and get folks to adopt that?
That I haven't heard yet. I mean, it's one of those things where I know the governor made the announcement, and I haven't heard anything else more about it since then. So, whether you want to get that up on your website, saying, "Hey, there's this tool that for additional protection for yourself, or just for additional personal personal surveillance, if you want to sign on to Mass Notify, and put the website up there so people can go up and take a look."
Yeah, that'd be great. We'll talk to Lisa when she's back and see if we can
get
up there, and that'd be great to just let folks know.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless you heard the governor's press conference, you might not have known that it was up and live. So
I saw it in the Globe, and
okay, good. Okay, good.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Well, it's 7:10. We can move on to the next one. I
It
guess.
was perfect, Jim. You used up just the right amount of time.
Very well. Very well. Thank you.
It's nice to know I'm a good space filler, I guess.
So 7:10, we have 5 East South Evan Carloni variance request.
Okay,
All right, so let's share again. Can you see my screen?
yeah,
Yep, all right, good.
very nice.
So this is, this system was proposed to be a geomat. This is another high groundwater situation. 3 feet to groundwater in this side yard here. So we're going with a geomat because we're just trying to get as low profile of a system as possible to maintain the yard. The waiver requests are the 2-foot offset to the groundwater table, which is allowed by the approval letter. That's basically we weren't able to keep this gravity. It had to remain pumped, but it will at least, keep the mounding down a bit. The other waiver is from the local regulation 15. It's in regards to the requirement for the licensed surveyor stamp on the plan. The reason for this request is, well, as most of you probably know, the industry is pretty far out right now. So we've got a failing system that's continually being pumped so that it doesn't, break out or back up into the house. And, we're having a hard time finding a surveyor to come out in a reasonable amount of time. So this is a pretty centrally located system. We're not pushing any property lines by any means. The closest corner is right around 30 feet. I think I measured it out to about 29 feet. So we're definitely not pushing any property lines. So that's the request there. How I got to these property lines, I used a system up here that was done about 10 years ago, 330 Goldsmith. I based it off of the locations of features on that lot, like the house and the system. So that's how I got to where I am with these property lines. I did find a few bounds out on the street. However, the plan from which I referenced to get these property lines, it is from the 1920s. It does not have a PLS stamp on it. However, it is a pretty fascinating plan, but it's a little tricky to read over in that corner where I found that bound. So it is kind of hard to trace back to tie into that. So I was relying on this plan that was done, which was stamped by a PLS back, I think, 10, 12 years ago. So those are the 2 requests.
Any member comments?
Let's see. So you need 3 feet up, huh?
3 feet, I'm sorry? 3 feet up from what?
Didn't you say you want to set up a little bit higher than 2 feet?
Well, the high groundwater was 3 feet in the ground. So the bottom of the system is about 1 foot into the ground.
Yeah.
And it will end up the total finished grade from the lowest portion in the yard, I believe, is about, looks to be about 6 inches, maybe 7 inches high.
Okay. Well, it looks, the design is just right on the nose. You got a lot of room on each side. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't see any problem, but that's my thought. I'd like to make a motion to give you the variance.
Well, I have a couple questions.
Unless Jimmy has any comment. And
I'd like to hear Jim's comments.
I do.
Did you want my comments first, Kevin, or did you have the questions? So the geomat, again, you've seen Adams Street now has at least 3 or 4 of them. And again, they work well in a wet application because they're very low profile. I believe this is pressure dose, so it'll get good distribution across the bottom of the geomat. The yard out there is pretty flat. And so and the house is really low to the ground, so it doesn't have a lot of concrete showing. So again, as we think about grading on a site and what kind of impacts we may have on the house, this kind of helps minimize some of that by keeping the grading down. The area is served by town water, so we don't have to worry about wells. Even though the bottom of the system may be a foot in the ground, I think it's still higher above groundwater than the existing system is. So from a public health standpoint, we're certainly making the situation better. So again, from those perspectives, I don't see an issue with it. With regard to the property line issue, Title V talks about the need of a surveyed lot lines when you get within 5 feet of the property line. He's certainly well outside of that 5 foot mark. So from that perspective, it seems reasonable, a reasonable request.
Yeah, the survey being almost 100 years old kind of concerns me.
Right.
But, with that other system being only 10 or 12 years old, I guess we have some benchmarks there that we can go off of
Right.
to determine where the lines are.
Thank you, Jamie.
Dan, do you have any comments?
I'm in the same place for you as far as the survey, and want to make sure that we are not encroaching, although we have a pretty good offset. So even if those lines on the plan are off a bit, we should at least be a reasonable offset from the nearby properties.
Mhm.
Is there any plan for, I'm not sure what the functionality, usefulness of it once a surveyor is available, just to confirm the as-built and locations? I'm not sure if that's necessary or
We'll need an
part of
as-built.
the plan.
When the system's installed, Evan will do, or a designer, I assume Evan will do the as-built plan for the site.
With a surveyor, with a PLS stamped plan.
I'm not sure the time frame, Evan.
Well, the time frame for these surveyors, they've been out. The homeowner's done a lot of reaching out. I did a little bit in the beginning, but she's been reaching out to more, and they all seem to be out toward the end of the summer, at least.
Can we get a PLS to verify the as-built with the lot lines when the system's complete?
I'm sure we could. I wouldn't want it to, hold up the as-built, but I'm sure we could try to arrange that.
And I see it's 220 gallons a day. Do we need a deed restriction on this for a 2-bedroom?
As part of the permit conditions, that's kind of a standard thing. We'll make sure that there's a deed restriction note on there.
Okay.
Evan, are they selling the house or?
No.
Okay.
May I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the variance.
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Gino Fratelloni?
Oh, you remember my name. Thank you.
Well, it's listed right there. Yeah.
I got to pick on you once in a while.
Was that a yes?
They say yes.
Dan Kane?
Dan Kane, yes.
Kevin Baker, yes.
Thank you very much.
So moving on, 7:15 public hearing, 7 Chestnut Lane septic extension request. Is this GPR?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry about that. I rejoined as you were talking.
That's all right. We're running late. Go ahead.
Oh, see, I must have missed a lot while I was rejoining. Sorry about that. So, evening, we're here asking for an extension of an existing permit for 7 Chestnut Lane. I can share my screen to kind of give you something to look at, if that would be all right. I'm just going to go for it. So, the property is at the Chestnut Lane. That's it's actually lot 13 that we're asking for. It's off a common drive that's partially built, existing number 5. We're talking about number 7 or lot 13. the plan was originally submitted and approved back in 2007. And then in the end of January 2020, it was granted a 1-year extension to kind of carry it into the pandemic. Our client, Seal Harbor LLC, just recently came under agreement to buy the property. They just were able to come to terms and agreement the end of May, beginning of June. And in discussions with Jim, that would give them about 2 weeks to get a foundation in the ground and complete the remaining portions of the system. The system design itself includes a Presby field with a series of stepped retaining walls that lead down to the proposed structure, with a septic tank and dosing chamber or pump chamber pumping the effluent up to the leaching area. It's our understanding that that system was started. I believe at least there was a bottom of bed inspection, and then there's some Presby pipe out there, but it's generally remained open to the air, needs to be refreshed and brought back into compliance. So the new owner is asking for a modification of the permit, since it was already granted an extension, to modify the expiration date for 1 year out to allow them to continue to put this system in to complete the installation. I can certainly answer any questions or point to anything else if the board has any other questions.
So the design is the same as it was prior, right? Prior to
Yes,
the-
we're asking for the same plan
Yeah,
to continue forward, correct?
Yeah, so in other words, if it wasn't for the pandemic, you won't have any need for an extension. But I can see what you're saying.
Yeah, we would hope so. I didn't do this design. I didn't represent the owner or the person that had this design done. I only represent the new owner. So I can't really speak in full detail to why the system installation was stopped. I just know that it's half done, and we're just trying to keep the permit active.
Yeah. In many cases we dealt before, I don't see why we should not allow an extension for the septic system. I don't think if you have any problem. This is my thoughts. But before I make a motion, I'd like to see if anybody else will make a comment. Hey, Dan, you have any problem with it?
Thanks, Gino. You said 2007 was original design. Was it 2007 or 2017?
2017. I'm sorry if I misspoke.
No, that's okay. I could have sworn that seemed like a long time. I just wanted to double check. As in my guesses, it would appear that there probably hasn't been any Title V changes since the original permit went through. So it's not. If it was 2007, I'd be a little more concerned. But 17 seems perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, no, I don't have any concerns with it as long as we're
Thank
just
you.
a simple extension with a system that's already been approved.
I'll make a motion to accept.
We hear Jim's comments, please.
Yes, what's your name? I understand I forgot your name, sir.
It's written right there.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. That's you, Kevin. I'm sorry.
So
Go ahead. Jim.
it just kind of a strange process. So permits, in accordance with Title V, permits are good for 3 years, and the boards are allowed to grant a 1-year extension for those permits. Otherwise, they're supposed to be re-permitted. So once the 1-year extension the board granted was underway, shortly thereafter, we entered into the pandemic. And so the state put in place these, I think the acts of 2020, 53 or something like that. They had a process by which permits tolled through the pandemic. At the end of the state of the emergency, it was given 60 days. Boards are given 60 days to kind of modify permits. So Nick's here asking the board to modify the permit in that case. So again, the system was partially started. One of the conditions I've talked to the new owner is to go out and take a look at what's there, see what we need to do to continue work on that system. Make sure, I did witness the stripping of all the top and subsoil. The sand got placed, but probably want to scratch around, make sure the quality of the sand is good and that. So again, I don't necessarily see an issue with the extension of it because the Title V hasn't changed and your regulations haven't changed.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. Once in a while, you stick with me. Okay, what's his name? Kevin, I think is his name. Yeah. Hey, Kevin, can I make the motion now to
I just have
To
one
extend-
question, for
to
Jim.
extend it?
Jim,
Accept this,
with,
Can I make a motion?
Jim, with global warming and climate change, are you concerned at all about the groundwater levels changing and
I know, but once in a while, he sticks with me.
changing?
So I think we went out there, we did a number of tests on that hillside, those other lots coming in. And I think we had a pretty good feel, and we've done soil testing up on the hill there too. So I don't think there's a concern that the water table is significantly different.
And there's actually no observed groundwater in the testing that was done from 2012 and 2016.
It's,
What was the high groundwater there?
The bottom of the hole, which the deepest was 12 feet.
it was pretty sandy soil.
And what was the perk rate?
2, probably less than 2.
Is this a Presby stepped?
Right now, yes.
Gino, you're muted.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Gino's muted. He's talking.
He'll figure out what that red microphone means one day.
Yeah.
You all better watch out.
Now with this, we're not actually granting an extension because they've already had a 1-year extension, so we're not. Another
Right.
extension really is an option. We're modifying the existing permit with a new
Correct.
expiration date, so it's the same effect but different action
And
to
and I think
accomplish the
that,
same thing.
and I think that's important, Dan, because that's how the language in the act is written. So, yeah.
Okay, can I make a motion to accept the extension to the septon? And I wish you a lot of luck, my friend, okay? Next time, try not to let us slide too long away. That way they don't give me no trouble when I make a motion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they don't like me anyway, you know what I'm saying? You know, only Jim likes me. That's it. You know, thank you, Jim.
You're welcome, Gina.
Yes, Dan.
Can I actually make a friendly amendment to the motion? That the motion is to modify the existing permit with an expiration date of June 15, 2022,
Mhm.
rather than an extension.
Sure. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, roll call.
You happy now?
Gino
Okay.
Catalani. Roll
You
call.
have,
Roll
you
call.
have roll call. Gino
Yeah.
says yes.
Okay. Dan Kane
Dan Kane, yes.
and Kevin Baker, yes.
Thank you, Dan.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right.
I want you to have a nice weekend. Don't get upset and say a prayer for Gino once in a while, okay?
Every night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we already did our COVID-19 update. Is there any correspondence?
I don't think so.
We did get that letter forwarded by Janet from the water department regarding the current state of the town water in Littleton. Did anyone have a chance to read that?
No, but I noticed they're putting a lot of pipes all over the place.
Hmm.
So that's a good sign.
The only thing that stuck out to me was the susceptibility rate for our water being able to go in the other direction.
Yeah.
And I think that's high, and I think we should have a conversation about that when the full board.
Well, I hope everything goes well. You know, they're trying to do the best they can.
Yep, they're doing a great job.
Yeah. So we don't have any correspondence. We don't have any member comment, I don't think, and public comment. I don't think we have
Well,
any.
let's see if we have any member comments.
Go ahead, Dan. I'll let you go first.
I actually, for a change, do not have any member comments this evening.
Yep.
And I don't either, except that it was nice to attend the groundbreaking for the water treatment plant down on Whitcomb. And they've done a great job planning it. I'm glad the timing lined up with the PFAS, and they're able to incorporate the treatment for the PFAS along with the iron and magnesium in the
That's
plant.
good.
And hopefully a couple years from now, it'll be a done deal, and
Yep.
it'll be happy campers.
I hope so.
Public comments. Does anyone have their hands raised?
We don't have anybody today.
Nope, nobody?
Nobody but you folks. That's it.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh, yeah.
So then it's just the minutes for June 9th. Did you guys
I'll
have
make
a chance to read them?
We did. I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second,
All right, roll call vote. Gino Fratelloni,
yes.
Dan Kane,
Dan Kane, yes.
and Kevin Baker, yes.
Very nice. Oh, boy.
So I guess that's it for now. Is our next meeting, are we doing 2 weeks?
I think so. There's nothing coming up. Right, Janet?
Sorry, I was muted. Our next meeting will be July 14th. So it's actually 3 weeks from now because we have 5 Wednesdays in June.
Oh,
So
you're right.
You've
Yeah,
gone
yeah.
back to the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays.
We'll do the 14th and the 28th.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm going to be very lonely, no meeting. We used to have a meeting every week for several hours. All right, I just wanted to say thank you for coming, Kevin. Oh, that's right, Kevin Baker. I know somebody else by the name Baker. Actually, a couple of extra people that I know.
Uncle Charlie, I know.
Yeah, and they're very nice to me. I was wondering why you're so tough with me. I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you so much. And would you want me to make a motion to adjourn,
Sure.
or you want to stay another
Unless
couple?
anyone has anything else to say.
Okay. And Dan, you have anything else to say for
I'm all
amendment?
set. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I just want to say thank you very much for the meeting. I appreciate it. And I see you. Ooh, July 14th. Ah, my God. I'm
Wait.
going to.
Can we have a
Really?
second to that motion to adjourn?
Ooh.
I'll second the motion to adjourn the meeting.
A roll call vote. Gino Fratelloni,
Yes.
and Dan Kane,
Dan Kane, yes.
and Kevin Baker, yes.
And Jimmy left already?
No, Jimmy's right here.
Hey, Jimmy, have a nice weekend.
You as well. I'll see you in a few weeks.